In the ancestral lands of South Africa, where the winds carry millennia-old secrets and storms dance with primal fury, a creature of absolute terror rules the night skies. Half-giant bird, half-bloodthirsty demon, completely lethal to those who dare cross its path. Its name echoes in fearful whispers through the villages, Impundulu. When lightning splits the sky and thunder rolls like war drums, it is not just an ordinary storm approaching. It is the arrival of a supernatural predator that has terrorized entire communities for centuries, leaving behind a trail of death and mystery that defies any rational explanation. This is not just another folktale lost to time. The Impundulu represents one of the most feared and well-documented entities on the African continent, a creature whose existence transcends generations and whose attacks are still reported to this day. Unlike the European vampires we know, this African entity possesses powers that go far beyond a mere thirst for blood, wielding control over the forces of nature and manipulating the very essence of human life. Prepare to dive into the darkest depths of African folklore, where you will uncover the true nature of one of the most terrifying creatures ever documented by humankind. In the next few minutes, you will be guided through the ancestral mysteries of the Impundulu, from its origins in Zulu and Xhosa traditions to the most recent cases that continue to baffle investigators around the world. I will reveal not only the supernatural anatomy of this creature, but also the secret rituals used to summon it, the precise methods of its predatory attacks, and, most importantly, the protective techniques that can mean the difference between life and death. By the end of this journey, you will possess exclusive knowledge about one of the most powerful entities in African occultism, understanding not only its devastating powers, but also the ancestral methods of safeguarding oneself against its malevolent influence. This knowledge, passed down through generations of sangomas and traditional healers, is rarely shared outside African initiatory circles, making this a unique opportunity to access authentic and deeply respected ancestral wisdom. In the depths of African oral tradition, the Impundulu emerges as one of the oldest and most revered entities, with roots stretching back centuries within the Zulu and Xhosa cultures of southern Africa. This supernatural creature represents far more than a simple legend. It constitutes a fundamental element of the spiritual cosmology of these ancestral peoples. Elders of these tribes describe the Impundulu as a primordial being, born from the union of celestial elements and the chthonic forces of the earth, a direct manifestation of the power that governs storms and thunder. The first historical record of this entity dates back to the year 1872, when European missionaries reported encounters with healers who described in detail the rituals used to invoke this creature. According to these documents, the Impundulu had already been venerated and feared for at least 500 years before the arrival of the colonizers, being regarded as the guardian of meteorological secrets and the controller of the region's most destructive natural forces. The accounts indicate that this entity has always been intrinsically linked to the most violent atmospheric phenomena in the area. The true appearance of the Impundulu defies any known natural classification, manifesting as an aberration that disturbingly combines avian features with humanoid elements. In its primary beast form, the creature displays a colossal wingspan that can reach up to 4 meters, with membranous wings similar to those of a giant bat, yet covered in black feathers that shimmer with metallic reflections under lightning flashes. Its elongated muscular body bears dark, leathery skin, while razor-sharp talons protrude from both its feet and its anthropomorphic hands. Perhaps the most sinister and strategic attribute of the Impundulu is its ability to shapeshift. The creature can assume the form of a young, extraordinarily attractive, unusually tall, and athletically built, with eyes that glow faintly even in total darkness. In this human form, it retains only subtle features that betray its supernatural nature: an abnormally high body temperature, a complete absence of shadow during daylight hours, and the ability to produce small electrical discharges through touch traits that often go unnoticed by unsuspecting victims until it is far too late. The process of creating and summoning the Impundulu is one of the most complex and dangerous rituals within Sangoma tradition, requiring years of spiritual preparation and ancestral knowledge passed down exclusively through specific initiatory bloodlines. Only high-ranking Sangomas, known as Izinyanga, possess the necessary wisdom to perform this ceremony without being consumed by the very power they seek to control. The ritual must be conducted during particularly violent storms, when atmospheric energies reach their peak intensity and the veils between worlds become more permeable. The ritual ingredients include the blood of specific animals collected during lunar eclipses, the bones of birds of prey that died during storms, rare herbs found only in locations struck by lightning, and more controversially human bodily elements obtained through methods that remain secret even within initiatory circles. The bond established between the Sangoma and the Impundulu transcends a simple master-servant relationship, forming a symbiotic connection where both share vital force and supernatural knowledge, rendering the summoner simultaneously more powerful and eternally dependent on the entity they command. The predatory behavior of the Impundulu follows meticulously calculated patterns, demonstrating a strategic intelligence that surpasses any known natural predator. The creature selects its victims based on specific criteria, showing a clear preference for young women of reproductive age, particularly those with strong vital energy or heightened spiritual sensitivity. This selection is far from random. It is based on the victim's capacity to provide the specific type of energy the entity requires to sustain its existence in the physical realm. The seduction techniques employed by the Impundulu in its human form are devastatingly effective, combining supernatural charm with sophisticated psychological manipulation. The creature is capable of identifying its victim's deepest emotional needs, presenting itself as the ideal partner who offers exactly what the person desires most. Over the course of weeks or even months, it establishes seemingly genuine intimate relationships, gaining complete trust before initiating the energy-draining process. Feeding occurs gradually through prolonged physical contact, during which the entity absorbs not only vital energy, but also memories, emotions, and even fragments of the victim's soul. This leaves the target progressively weakened, and those who feed on it and emotionally shattered, leading to death by total exhaustion. The most widely documented and investigated case took place in the province of KwaZulu-Natal in 1927, when British colonial authorities were forced to investigate a series of unexplained deaths that had terrorized the region for months. 17 young women were found dead in their homes, all displaying identical signs. Bodies completely drained of blood with no visible external injuries, expressions of absolute terror frozen on their faces, and electrical burn marks shaped like claws around the neck and wrists. The official reports from the police investigation preserved in colonial archives describe disturbing physical evidence found at the crime scenes. Witnesses reported consistent sightings of a tall, attractive male figure last seen with each victim, always during intense storms. Survivors of failed attacks described similar experiences, encounters with seductive men who displayed abnormally high body temperatures and the ability to generate electric sparks through touch. The most compelling evidence included footprints that transitioned from human to bird-like in a linear sequence, melted glass found near the bodies, and scorched electrical appliances within a 50-meter radius phenomena that defied any scientific explanation at the time and continue to baffle modern-day researchers. Protection against the Impundulu requires specific ancestral knowledge passed down through generations of traditional healers, with iron amulets forged during thunderstorms being the most effective tools against this entity. These talismans must be crafted by initiated blacksmiths who know the sacred words of power necessary to imbue the metal with protective properties. Traditionally, they are shaped into stylized birds or intertwined lightning bolts, Seeds from certain native plants, particularly aloe ferox and roots of bulbine fruit sensins, when carried in small leather pouches cured with sea salt, create an energetic barrier that repels the creature's approach. Family protection rituals involve complex ceremonies conducted during the new moon, where the entire home is purified with smoke from specific herbs burned in clay braziers. Experienced sangamas use exorcism techniques that include chants in ancestral languages, drawings of protective symbols with sacred charcoal on doors and windows, and ritual offerings placed at crossroads during thunderstorms. The unmistakable signs of the Impundulu's presence include electrical appliances turning on by themselves in the dead of night, domestic animals refusing to enter certain rooms, abnormally high temperatures in specific parts of the house, and most alarmingly, the constant sensation of being watched, even in complete solitude. The rapid urbanization of South Africa has not diminished the Impundulu's influence. In fact, it has paradoxically expanded its reach and refined its hunting methods. In contemporary metropolises such as Johannesburg and Cape Town, the entity has adapted seamlessly to the urban environment, using modern electrical systems as conduits for its supernatural powers, and exploiting the isolation characteristic of big cities to select more vulnerable victims. Reports from 1998 to the present document incidents in luxury apartment buildings, where residents describe experiences identical to those reported in rural villages centuries ago. Its influence in African popular culture remains deeply rooted, with references to the Impundulu appearing in traditional music, contemporary literature, and even South African film productions. Modern cases continue to be reported with alarming frequency, especially in communities where ancestral traditions coexist with modern technology, creating a hybrid phenomenon that defies conventional explanation. The enduring legacy of this entity in African folklore transcends mere superstition, representing a living connection to ancestral wisdom that offers unique insights into forces that modern science still cannot fully comprehend. Its cultural and spiritual relevance remains untouched across centuries. You now possess exclusive knowledge about one of the most feared and powerful entities on the African continent. The Impundulu is not merely a distant legend, but a real force that continues to influence lives to this day. If this content sparked your curiosity about the hidden mysteries of the vampiric world, like and share this video with those who appreciate the darker side of global folklore. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into supernatural legends from across the continents. See you soon in the next Chronicle of the Immortals.